Seems not to be punished or held accountable, and they approve certain things. But what we also realize for the issue of the flooding is that most of the canal is blocked by vegetations and sand and other things, particularly when you look at the Ogompo. Mind you, the entire Lekki, is a marshy land, used to be called Morocco. It was rushed. There's no proper, design for Lekki itself. The water is bad. Most times you are seeing that a lot of even the drainage, the waste disposal is not good. So it's even seeping into the drinking water people use. A lot of people are relying on borehole. So it's a poorly built environment. The drainage are blocked. The canal is blocked. And at this point, when you then introduce a coastal road that is now above almost all the properties in that area. Because remember, when building, you have to look at the road level and make sure that it's from the road level that you pick your foundation. Typically, most of these areas, people ignore that, right? Now, of course, those who even have, do that. Now, coastal road is, I think, over 4 to 6 feet above the usual road level. And so water is finding it difficult to channel out, and that's part of what you're probably seeing happen. So it's a mixture of errors everywhere, and we just have to find a solution. But it's impressive to see that the government is concerned. Seeing the governor, the deputy, the commissioner move around to look for a solution is important, but we need to be preventive. Reactional leadership is not always the best.
Mr. Akintayo, I'm looking at those visuals, and you absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Akintayo, I think we owe you an apology.
Yeah.
We're so sorry for getting your name. I know it is Mr. Stephen Akintayo, not Akintoye. So apologies for that, please.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Akintayo, looking at the visuals there, so this happens. I want to get you to be clear with us right now. Are you saying that because of this coastal highway construction, that the flooding this year is worse than the flooding previous years?
Definitely, absolutely. Because again, you have a road that is higher than every of the houses that it is passing through. There's practically no house right now in that entire corridor that has peaked half a foundation level from that coastal road. The coastal road is so literally you did a road that turns on the right, on the left to a valley of some sort.
So the engagements with this in mind, you're a real estate investor, you're a resident. Have there been what kind of conversations have you been having with the Minister of Works? Because he's defended this coastal highway with all his strength. So in the conversations with him, what do you get the sense that he agrees with your assertion, or does he feel like you don't quite understand how we have done what is necessary and it just takes some time for things to level out? What do you get in your conversations with the Minister of Works on this particular matter?
I personally haven't engaged the Minister of Works. We run an institution, so it's not really a one-man business. And I'm mostly not, because we have investment in Dubai, US, and things like that. But I'm aware that a lot of our colleagues have raised that. Engineer Stella, she more than raised that. I mean, everybody knows that by now, And but I think I'm not even against the coastal road, road level, because again, this is well planned over the years.
Yeah.
The coastal road is not a new concept, and by the word coastal road, it was meant to be in proximity to the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And so it's also a way of preventing erosion. However, I think the challenge is once you move away from the gazetted line, which is more closer to the ocean, now you came into this almost, we can call it city center now. And so you move into the city center and created of some sort valleys. It's just
naturally flows into valleys. All right, so I'll come back to you in a bit. But let's talk with Stella Okengu. Madam Stella, so talk to us about the engagements with the Ministry of Works. How has it been? What are the responses? And we both know why you're laughing, because you have been fighting for a while. And more grease to your elbows.
I said everything now.
All right, so let's talk about that. What are your feelers in your engagements with the Minister of Works, and what's the plan going forward based on the conversations you had?
Anyway, what I'm going to say is that the engagement was unsatisfactory because I raised the issue of environmental impact assessment, and when I raised it, he literally shut me down, which I don't even want to remember my experience with the minister. But when this coastal route came, when I was, talking about it, raising technical questions, because I'm an engineer by profession, a lot of people thought maybe because I'm concerned about our estates. But the issue is that the old gazetted alignment, which is the 2006 gazetted alignment, has passed all the environmental assessments, everything. So I will say that the coastal road was built on emotion, because he mentioned then that he wants to save about 1,700 to 2,000.
Overpaying for VPS hosting? Get started for just $3 a month. InterServer delivers fast, scalable VPS with no contracts. Linux or Windows, instant setup and locked-in pricing. Start your VPS today at InterServer.
1,700 houses that he saved in order to divert to our estate with all the demolition, almost 2,000 houses that they demolished, that they have to go back to demolish it again. When I heard it, I was like, wow, okay. So does it mean that people that they saved before, that he came out on national television and said that he saved, will now experience demolition? That is one thing about engineering, And let me say, you are a medical doctor, and you made a medical mistake. That's how engineering is. There is a 2006 gazetted alignment. Just follow it and, achieve the coastal route. I'm not against. In short, why we even invested in that area, why the diasporans came to invest, is about because of the coastline there, so that we can be able to enjoy the environment, the beaches around there. You understand? But with So destroying and demolishing our properties, I don't think our investors wants to come back again to Nigeria. Until now, I have been appealing for the compensation, but unfortunately, let me say that yes, part of the federal government are listening to us right now, but nothing has been done. So, we left our home country. I'm a United States citizen. Returned home because I believe in Nigeria. We invested hundreds of millions of dollars, encouraged fellow diaspora in Nigeria to invest, and convinced foreign partners that Nigeria was ready for responsible investment. Many of those same people asked me a heartbreaking question. If an investor who followed the approved process can lose everything without compensation, what guarantee do they have? Sadly, I don't have that answer.
I mean,
it's a terrible thing, but it really left a bitter taste because we have, like what Dr. Akintayo said, we have all the necessary documents. We even have coastal road right of way clearance certificate. So the coastal road does not have any jurisdiction in our area. So, but unfortunately, what happened to us was devastating. A nation that attracts investment, is not only by constructing highways, but by demonstrating that laws are respected. Environmental impact assessment is robust.
It's very heart-wrenching listening to your story,
Sometimes when I think about it, I supported the coastal road 100%.
Yeah.
I wanted it to come. When we heard it was coming, everybody was happy.
Until it came, and then let me ask you very quickly: has the road finally got to your area? Has it reached your area where you had your property?
Okay, Dr. Akintayo can bear me witness. Immediately, I raised the technical question about the coastal road. The next thing they said that the minister gave an order that they should leave wherever they are and go to our estate and demolish and pass the road. The road just has passed our estate.
So the road has passed your estate now?
In the middle of my estate.
Has your estate experienced any flooding whatsoever?
Of course. But if they had passed the original gazetted alignment, what they would have done is to put an embankment, a struck embankment, just the way they did it in Chenage, 1312, there's an embankment there, but they brought it into the city. You understand? It's not along the coastline again. They brought it saying that there is a marine cable. Marine cable cannot technically, let me say it in a layman language, cannot be on a land. Marine cable is a deep sea cable. It's inside the sea. It cannot even survive. It will melt. Literally melt. So they favored some people. Let me put it like that. And now those people, they want to go back and demolish their property.